President Biden's nominee for Secretary of State is proposing a new approach to countering the influence of the CCP. We spoke with an expert to see his perspective on this new approach. Our reporter Juliet Song has the story.
At the confirmation hearing on Tuesday, President Biden's pick for Secretary of State said he agrees with Trump's approach to China in some aspects.
I also believe that President Trump was right in taking a tougher approach to China. I disagree very much with the way that he went about it in a number of areas, but the basic principle was the right one, and I think that's actually helpful to our foreign policy.
Blinken says there is no doubt China poses the most significant challenge of any nation-state to the U.S.
There are, as I see it, rising adversarial aspects to the relationship, certainly competitive ones, and still some cooperative ones when it is in our mutual interest.
He adds that the U.S. needs to deal with the communist regime by working with allies, what he calls a position of strength.
Position of strength when we are working with, not denigrating, our allies. That's a source of strength for us in dealing with China.
A U.S.-based China commentator says the biggest difference between the two administrations' China approaches is their foundation.
The Trump administration approaches the Chinese regime from an ideological perspective. That's why we see when Pompeo told the European countries it's not a choice between the U.S. and China, but a choice between freedom and tyranny.
Tang says Blinken's China approach aims to form an interest-based alliance to counter Beijing.
And an alliance based on interest would bring a problem. Even though it looks powerful by numbers, it's also loose and easy to break apart. And we're already seeing alarming signs now.
Multiple U.S. allies signed economic deals with China in recent months. This includes countries in both Europe and the Asia-Pacific region.
So if you want to corner the Chinese Communist Party with an interest-based alliance, the CCP can also easily split up and corrupt your allies with economic interests. Signing these trade deals suggests these countries won't suggest cooperation with the communist regime on some important economic areas.
Tang adds that as long as the Chinese regime can get its hands on Western capital and technology, it can use it to grow its power to a point beyond control.
And then it can overtake the United States as the most powerful country in the world. Once it reaches that level, no country in this world will be able to rein in the CCP. It could really dominate the world.
He says the Chinese regime's conflict with the international society is rooted in its communist ideology, and that crippling the regime's economic power would be one of the most effective ways to counter its influence. Juliet Song, NTD News.